up, y'all? Welcome to the Gift of Gab. Shout out to all my Gabbos and Gabettes watching. I am your host, the Rhyme Marson Don Prett, along with my beautiful co-host, the Empress Shari Dubois, and the infamous Queen Amber Dawn. And we are the Gift of Gab. We have a guest tonight, Mr. Tido Brown. He's a CEO, has a business, producer. He has a lot going on, but we're going to get into that a little later. So tonight we're going to be talking about some issues going on with the coronavirus, and y'all know I got to talk about the NFL.
We're also going to get into the Democratic presidential primary with Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, and we're going to celebrate the life and legacy of Miss Toni Morrison for Women's History Month.
All right, we're going to get a little bit into the album reviews, which is Willow Smith, The Anxiety, and Jay Electronica, A Written Testimony. We're also going to get into a topic of dating with children, and if there's a limit to dating with people with children, and also some co-parenting.
So stay tuned.
Know why all them other niggas hating? Guess it's cause the girlfriend steady participating. Look at what that make me the topic of conversation. Topic of conversation. And I am hella loud. Fuck it, I'm conceited, eat it. Needless to say, I'm a genius. Bringing hip hop back with meaning since we been done RIP. I'm at the top, motherfuckers act like they don't know. Blind speaking at Chris Rock shit, saying that they never see before. Nigga, I do's this. I am a star amongst these squares. They are not on my level.
All right, so we got the hot topics. A lot of stuff we want to talk about. But first thing first, we're going to get into the coronavirus. After our last episode, the NBA shut down because of the coronavirus. And it's been a lot going on. Char, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually glad that you started and you stated that the NBA shut down, because I feel like that was the turning point for a lot of people when they really started to take it seriously. Like, we've been knowing about the coronavirus for a little bit now. We've actually been talking about it on the show for the last few weeks. But I feel like a lot of people really didn't understand the gravity of the situation and how serious it was getting until the NBA took a stance and said, all right, cool, we're like suspending this season. You know, we'll see you guys whenever this whole thing blows over. Personally, there have been some changes that have been made in my own personal life due to the coronavirus in the past week.
What?
At my job, I've been instructed to work from home. So I work with people who have compromised immune systems and they have disabilities and mental health issues. And our population is actually at risk of catching the virus. So we're trying to like mitigate the spread of it and slow it down as much as we can. So we've been instructed to work from home. So that's been the biggest change and adjustment for me. I'm blessed because at the moment it doesn't look like my income or my pay is going to stop or be interrupted. So I'm very fortunate that I'm not experiencing that, and I'm really blessed to work for a company that's really taking it serious, and we're trying to just make sure that everybody is staying safe and staying healthy. What about you, Amber?
I feel the same way. Definitely, you're very fortunate for that because there's a lot of people, if you work for a restaurant or anything like that, you're definitely out of a job right now. I did hear some talks about Trump apparently saying he's going to reimburse some of these people. Or actually, I'm not sure if it's just people who are missing out on money, or if it's people who can't work right now, or people who are just taxpayers, like anyone who's American. Supposedly he's going to give everyone $1,000. Not sure. There's been no say of when it's going to happen, or how soon or not. But it's definitely affecting a lot of people right now. They're just giving instructions on, obviously the schools are closed. Everyone's home. They're just saying if it's not a necessity, please don't do it. Be in crowds less than 10. So just go places that are a necessity to you at this point.
So you out of work right now?
Yeah, I'm out of work right now. My kids are out of school. My husband's still working. But other than that, it's just been crazy.
I'm fucked right now. I have my own business, and we do face-to-face marketing, and right now we can't work at all. Right. So they're talking about the government is supposed to do some type of loan for people that have small businesses where their business doesn't make $1 million, like anything less than $1 million, which my business does not make $1 million. But no, so there's supposed to be like this loan that we're supposed to be getting. We actually have a picture of all the states that it's affecting right now. And it's just a lot. It's spreading all over. Actually, my company in Canada, they shut down all their operations as well too. Just recently, they cut down. Nobody could cross the border right now, and it's wild. How's it affecting your life, Tido?
Well, it's not affecting my life too much because I have an online business, so I'm blessed to for it not actually affecting me financially. I haven't really took a financial hit, but I mean, my honest opinion on it is that I think the coronavirus is affecting people more financially than it is health-wise. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're asking enough questions. I don't think they're giving us a real solid reason as to why everything is being shut down. My personal opinion. Because what they're saying is the symptoms are coughing, sneezing, runny nose, high
Basic
fever.
stuff.
That sounds like a common cold.
Common
to me,
cold,
right?
yeah.
And it's actually no different than the flu.
Right.
And because I have kids and the fact that it is shutting down, businesses and the government, what have you, I have taken it seriously and did my own research on it. And I haven't found anything that I can grasp on as to the reason why it's shutting everything down. Like, for instance, we had the Ebola scare a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Like, Ebola, people were literally bleeding from the eyes.
Right.
People were dying as soon as they got it, within weeks. Mm-hmm. Dying. Yeah. Did we shut the government down for that?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. But that would be something I would be, all right, you have my attention now. Yeah. Because people's skin is falling off or I'm bleeding from the eyes. Not common flu symptoms.
Over this, we're about to go into martial law almost. Right. And I was talking to you on the phone the other day, Shari. Remember when we was talking, you was telling me about how it's going to change the way people view the world and how they can work from home. Talk about that a little bit.
I think it's important to keep in mind that with the coronavirus, there are flu-like symptoms, but it's an airborne virus. So it started and kind of got really bad in China, and it's made its way through Europe. It's impacted Italy. Their whole country is shut down right now. 60 million people are staying indoors. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to mitigate the spread. So it's an airborne virus, so they're instructing people to wash their hands and to use hand sanitizer so that we don't keep spreading it. So a lot of people are testing positive, but sometimes their symptoms aren't very severe, and that's one of the challenges that we're having right now is that they're not making testing readily available to everybody. So anybody sitting amongst us could be positive and we might not be affected, but when we go visit our grandparents or older people who have compromised immune systems, those are the people who are in danger. So it might not be something that we can see, but it's definitely something in the air. Right. And this thing is going to sweep across this country like something we've never seen before. I don't think we've seen anything like this in our lifetime.
That's what I was going to say.
And it hasn't been anything like this since the Spanish flu back in 1918. So even looking at this map, all of the data and all of the information that we're getting right now isn't super up to date and super accurate. But I know in Pennsylvania we have a lot more
I was looking at that,
confirmed cases. In Montgomery County, especially, I think we're up to 40 cases right now.
We just had our first person die in Pennsylvania today due to the coronavirus. But my homie, I was texting him earlier, and not texting him, but we was talking, and he was telling me, he doesn't get it. Because he's saying the numbers don't add up to why we have to completely shut down. And I kind of agree with him. The numbers just really aren't adding up to where it has to be this big of a pandemic. Because we're supposed to be locked in our houses right now. And people are out of work. Now, I wanted you to touch on that thing where you said how people are going to, after this, once it's all said and done and it's over with, how people would realize they could have been working from home this whole time.
I think this is a great opportunity for us. I mean, I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out what I want these next couple of weeks to look like. I personally don't have a problem with being indoors and everything being shut down. I also realize that I'm not being majorly inconvenienced. So that might be a little selfish for me to say I'm cool with sitting at home for the next month or two because I'm chilling, But I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to figure out, how are we overturning a lot of these things? There's no reason why we have to go back the way we were living just a couple days ago. I don't need to go to work. I don't need to sit in the office. I can work from home. And I have the type of job where I have have that flexibility, but this is really letting us see this country in a completely different light. So all of the things that we didn't think are possible are possible. So small businesses are going to get a bailout. The airline got a $50 billion bailout. We're getting some sort of stimulus package, maybe $1,000 a person. What's $1,000? Like, what is that really? I feel like now is the time where
bailout is it really?
We really need to start challenging how things are being run in this government. So all of this time, so you're about to give maybe $1 or $2 trillion to help us with this stimulus to stimulate the economy. You could have been forgiven student loan debt. Kids could have been had access to, having access to Wi-Fi and internet. That should have been universal.
How about that $3 trillion they just spent on war supplies months ago?
They find the money when it's convenient, right?
And then now this
Now it's
pops
nothing.
up. You said your husband's still working.
My husband works for SEPTA, so they're like the last to shut down for anything.
Wow.
But my whole thing is that if you're going to do a nationwide shutdown, then everything needs to be shut down. You're minimizing the spread and everything, but you're also not shutting everything down. So you're not going to shut down all cases. Like, you know how many people, that's the main source right there, transportation.
People are catching
being
the bus,
on the train,
public
being
subways
on
and
the
stuff.
bus. Like, do you know how dirty that is? Like, and how crowded that can get? That's like, I think, in more danger than working at a restaurant of only maybe 50 people at a time dining. I think it's very much more dangerous being in a subway or whatever, you know what I mean? But I just don't get it. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, and as I said on the last episode, it's just like they're not giving us enough explanation. They're not providing us with enough information for us to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And now you got all these kids home with nothing to do. You know, I'm just trying to keep my kids busy with work and giving them, like homework and something, portion of the day to give them something to keep their brains,
Yeah, they shut down the liquor stores too.
Right.
Everything.
And oh man, it's that gun sales right now are up because people are scared. They said on the news today that people aren't going to get arrested for non-violent crimes.
Right.
Sound like some purge shit to me.
It's going to be some purge shit.
And again, that's to mitigate the spread. So they're not saying if you commit a murder, we're just going to like get your name and high five you and let
non-violent
you
though.
go.
Right.
But they still
Non-violent
get
petty
charged for it. It's just that the
True.
courts are even closed right now.
Because again, they're trying to mitigate the spread. So you lock up all of these people, you put them in jails. Now you got all of these sick prisoners that we can't test, that people do not want to afford to pay for treatment for.
Right.
So I get it. Maybe the email being leaked.
That email
I was going to
was
say
worded
that shouldn't have been
It
for
was
the public.
worded wrong, and criminals, like, people that weren't even criminals that wanted to be about that life, people that are about that life, they're going to see that, and they're going to be running in people's houses. And I think everybody should be at the point where they should protect themselves. Everybody should get the strap.
For sure.
I agree. I wish I had a gun. I've been playing
Get
with the
one.
idea since these black women have been kidnapped. So I wish I had a gun.
You don't have to have a license. Just get one, keep it at your house,
Or your
and if
house.
somebody gets in that motherfucker, shoot them.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You don't
Right.
necessarily need a license to carry to buy a gun and purchase it. I mean, it
For
can
your
just
home.
be in your home,
Oh, okay.
Right.
and you can shoot at will,
Right.
without any repercussions.
If they enter.
Without having a
Yeah.
license.
Without
Right.
having a license.
That's good
License is only
information.
for you to carry it out.
Yeah, carry it
Gotcha.
out. Yeah, you
Well-
could buy it. You could go to the gun store
Right now.
right now.
If
Yeah.
it's open.
So this all brings up, like, we're all experiencing a change right now. We don't know what this country is going to look like 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now. We have this pandemic that's spreading. They don't want to pay for testing. They don't want to pay for treatment. And we have this Democratic presidential debate in these nominees. Like,
Right.
what a more pressing time to have these issues brought about. We have one presidential candidate, Bernie Sanders, who's saying, testing needs to be made available. We need universal health care, period. And then you have Joe Biden, who doesn't exactly have that stance, but he's holding down the Democrat. It's actually looking like he's in the lead to win the primary at this point.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think Biden's going to win.
I think so too. Yeah.
Biden's going to win just for the simple fact that he was Obama's vice president.
Right.
Now, Bernie Mac, I said Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Bernie
Bernie
Mac
Mac.
for president. Come back to life, bro.
Right. Bernie Sanders, he has a history for being a part of the civil rights movement back in the day. But this is 2020, and my kids only learn about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King in school, periodically, for like a certain small amount of time, but
Right.
they all know who Obama is.
Right.
So 2020, 9 times out of 10, Biden is going to win this just because he was a vice president of Barack. And then also, I just feel like Sanders doesn't have enough ammunition to beat Trump.
Right.
What do you think about it?
I was going to say Joe Biden for sure. I feel like something about him, it could be because that he was the vice president of Barack Obama, but like something about him seems very much trustworthy versus like Bernie Sanders. I don't know what it is about him. I just feel like he's just like that. Like he kind of, the things he has to say, he has something to back it up. It's not like when you're just running like a candidate and then you're just like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Like, you just say anything. Like, I feel like pretty much the stuff that he does say, he does.
Who?
So, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Okay.
I feel like he's just much more trustworthy versus Bernie Sanders, in my opinion.
So we about to have our own political debate on the show real fast.
I'm trying to let y'all cook.
Let me cook something up real quick.
Go ahead.
Mind you, just to go back to the coronavirus, just shortly, real quick, liquor stores are closed, so I'm drinking beer. Not a Corona.
And not a Corona.
But
Right.
But, I'm going to use some Philly terms. Y'all know I'm not the voting bull that, people will usually say. Like, I'm not going to be honest with you. Sometimes I tell people this and they look at me different. Like, I've never been the one to vote. I don't really believe in all that shit. And there was this guy, Yang. I talked about him earlier, and I was going to vote for him. And now it's between Sanders and Biden and all this. And I really fuck with Bernie Sanders hard body. You mentioned about him being part of the civil rights movement. Not only because he supports marijuana. That is a strong factor for me, though. But no, he really wants to bring up the minimum wage to $15 for all Americans. He believes that every American should have health care, that it doesn't have to go through a program or a thing, like just how like they do it in Canada. He believes that every child should have the right to have a good education and shouldn't have to pay for college.
Right.
Okay.
And those are just some things I'm just willing to stand by. He wants to change a lot of the system and what's going on. And anybody that wants to change the system, I'm all for it because fuck the system.
Yo, to be honest with you, I 100% agree with you. I'm all Bernie Sanders too, all the way, because he's a fighter. You know what I mean? And he wants change. I'm just a realist at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
And he's not going to win this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like Biden has it in the bag. You know what I mean? I feel like just the political environment in general has become like a circus. And Biden has the charisma to match Trump. Bernie doesn't. I'm just looking at him right now in the picture. Like,
Bernie's old as shit. Oh, like I mean, like I think he could keep on ticking though.
Yeah.
People think he's gonna die if he get elected.
Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, neither of them were my first pick for the Democratic nominee. I was actually a huge Elizabeth Warren fan. A lot of the policies and issues and things of her, like she had a plan for everything. And there were just so many different things that I could relate to and could identify with, just wanting to wipe the student loan debt clean and making college more affordable. And, she really cares about the mortality rate amongst black women when we're in childbirth. Like, black women are dying when having kids. Like, why is that? She had a plan for how she was gonna, I was a huge Elizabeth Warren fan. Bernie Sanders is most like Elizabeth to me. I do agree that college tuition should be free for everybody, and he wants to put a lot of money into HBCUs, and he wants kids to have an education, and there are some things racially and socially that I think he wants to make right. But it's looking like, as of late, that Joe Biden is going to snag the nomination. And I do agree with you, Ted, that I think it has a lot to do with his relationship and affiliation with Barack Obama. I would love to see, I don't know if it would be disloyal for I don't know how Obama feels politically. I feel that President Obama's ideas more align with Bernie Sanders, but I don't know if he would step out against Joe Biden and endorse Bernie Sanders. I don't know if that's improper to do. There are rumors that Stacey Abrams had a sit down with Joe Biden and could potentially be having a conversation about her being his vice president. So Stacey Abrams, who was a black woman who ran for a position in Georgia, she didn't get it. Having a conversation with Joe Biden, that might change some things for people if the vice president is a black woman.
You think that'll help or hurt him?
I think it would help. I think it would help. Unfortunately, even though I'm Team Bernie, I think Joe Biden having a black woman, as his vice president, I feel like that would seal the deal for him.
Right. I think so too.
I hope Bernie gets himself a black woman for his vice president. Like, keep it even or whatever, because people gonna eat that up.
And it's Joe Biden has been behind like the entire time. He raised the least amount of money in his campaigns. He wasn't the most popular. He was messing up in the debates. Like, he's just kind of out there just saying any old thing. And basically what he's saying is everything's gonna stay the same. Like, don't worry about it. It's all just gonna be how it's been for many years. And Bernie is very left and progressive, and I'm all for it. But just the fact that Joe Biden already had that experience, and he's Obama's guy.
Y'all gonna vote for Kanye for president 2020?
No, never.
I'm actually with you, man. Like, to be honest with you, I'm not a voting guy. I think it's not. I don't think I know. I only voted for Barack. That's it.
Yeah, it's who they're gonna want to be president anyway. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be very transparent. I voted for him because he was black. I didn't vote for him because of his political views. I mean, I voted for him because he was black, and I feel like a lot of people voted for him because he was black.
His skin looked like mine.
Yeah, he looks like mine. So.
Was that the last time you guys voted?
Yeah, that's the last and only time I voted. Because to be honest with you, my personal opinion towards it is that the president never actually affected my life. I feel like the mayor has more of an effect on my life than the president does. So I always took the mayor more seriously than the president, because the mayor has a direct effect on my kids locally. So.
All right, so we're going to move on into the album reviews. We're going to start with Willow Smith. She has the Anxiety. What are your thoughts on that?
The Anxiety album, and I think it's pretty interesting that she locked herself in a box. Her and Tyler Cole, they locked themselves in a box for 24 hours to experience anxiety. To me, that shot all the way out. But let's talk about the album first. I've never heard of Tyler Cole, honestly, like before this album. I guess they like worked on music together a lot before. But I know a lot of people hear Willow Smith and they think of the girl that did I whip my hair back and forth. Exactly. That's all her, like, her music, like, a lot of people know her from. But I remember when I first heard Willow Smith after that, I was in a setting with a group of people, music's playing in the background, and I had to stop people, like, I'm so sorry, guys, I do this sometimes. Sorry, what is this on the radio right now?
Right.
And they were like, Willow Smith. I thought they were lying to me. I couldn't believe it. Her voice is so beautiful, and she makes very unique music that is just eclectic. Like, a lot of people would like, it just puts you in a heavy vibe. Okay. This album was different from even the type of music she's been doing. And the first song came on. The first song is called Hey You. It was a rock song. Shit was fire. I love rock. I love rock. My favorite tracks on there was Believe That. Poolside is very good. You gotta listen to it, Shari. Okay. I know you don't like that type of music. Listen to Poolside. It's a little different. I really like the song Entertain. And Meet Me at Our Spot was a really good one. You didn't get a chance to listen to that, did you?
No. Unfortunately, this is not a topic I can touch on because I'm not a Willow Smith fan. Yeah. Nor has she ever been on my radar. So I actually didn't even know that she had an album out until this actual show. So.
Check out her music. Yeah, it's something different. Shari, what do you think?
Of Willow Smith?
Oh, wait. You didn't hear the album.
No, I didn't. I gave it like 30 seconds.
Hey You, the first song?
Yeah, and that was it. I knew it was alternative. I knew that it had a different type of vibe, and I felt like I had to be in a space where I'm able to receive it. I have to be open to it, and I didn't feel closed off when I went to put it on. I just put it on like, oh, we're going to talk about this on the show. Let me force myself to listen to it so I can have an opinion on it, and that's not how I want to receive Willow's music. I actually did like Whip My Hair, and then a few summers ago she had a song. I
with Jaden, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
It's a song called Summer Fling. And I think she performed it on like Ellen or something, and it just caught me, and it was beautiful.
I feel like he's in it. It's a small part that he's in.
Okay.
With her brother, and that's what I was going to touch on. I was going to say I feel like she does have like some moments where she can be very like sultry, like almost like a Janae Aiko, like almost.
Right.
And then there's other moments where it's like, oh, I'm weird in a tree, cut my nails, like something weird. Then you'd be like, wait, what? Then you'd be like, cut that off. So. I feel like she can go either way, which is cool because, like you said, it's like an eclectic thing. But hey, I mean, she's making that's her music, so.
You hear the album?
I did.
What'd you think?
That's the same thing I just said. I think that some of it is very sultry, and then it's like goes into like she's weird, like she is a weird individual. So of course she's gonna make music. That's what she likes. Who are we to tell her? Oh, you have to sound like this. That's what she wants to put out. Yeah. But I feel like she's very eclectic. It's like, I think so too. But I think that she just has her moments where she can dip and dive into different genres. Right.
Yeah. Some of the songs on there, like this is like not even just from this album that just came out, but like the album before this and all that, like kind of reminds me of a little vibe when Rihanna does her different type of music. Like they have that same type of
I agree.
type of vibe.
Especially the rock stuff.
The rock stuff, yeah. It's like the very similar voices almost as well too. She just shaved her head. I'm mad she cut off those locks. Yeah, she shaved her head for the box.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What do y'all think about that? Her and Tyler Cole just locked themselves in a box for 24 hours.
I don't know about Tyler Cole, but locking yourself in a box for 24 hours just sounds like something that a rich person does. Yeah. Like, we don't have anything better to do, so let's lock ourselves in a box to experience anxiety. If you want to experience anxiety, we can really give you an experience.
Yeah, come here.
You want to experience anxiety, I got a block on North Philly you can go to.
There's some places we can take you to if you really want to feel it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be locked in a box in our parents' mansion in the basement?
Yeah, like I don't get it. You want to experience anxiety or anxiety?
Right.
Yeah, like who wants that?
Who wants that?
Have y'all
rich people who don't have anything else to do with their time?
Have y'all ever experienced anxiety?
I think there's levels to it.
Yeah.
So I've definitely experienced.
Depending on what you're going through, I think.
I've never experienced anxiety until I had my daughter, and I remember one time I was on this business trip for like 5 days, and it was like the longest of me like not being with my daughter, and I couldn't get in contact with her mom, and I'm calling her friends or whatever, and I'm like, I just need to know where my daughter is, like where, like I just want to hear her voice, and like that was the first time I ever experienced anxiety. So sometimes, like now being a parent, I experience anxiety only because of this little girl.
Yeah. I agree.
Kids, right? They'll do it to you.
I think we have a lot of like sociological and psychological terms that we just kind of throw out. Like toxic is one that I hear. People saying I'm depressed. Like, are you really clinically diagnosed with depression, or are you just going through dealing with a little something? You're just sad.
Yeah, you're sad right now.
Anxiety, I don't know. That's just something. I guess maybe because I have a background like in mental health, I don't play with stuff like that. So the fact that you would create a condition where you can sit in a room to experience something that people are really like having a hard time overcoming day in and day out. It's fine. Yeah. Go make him.
If I go sit in a box for 24 hours, I'm definitely going to be depressed and have like anxiety.
I'm gonna be mad as shit for real. Like I said, where do you pee at? Like, are you eating? Do you have food there? If you got food there, I'm good. Honestly,
I think
my imagination is like big, so
I think a lot of people are experiencing anxiety right now.
Right now, that's what I said. I said that's anxiety right there.
There you go.
The only time I actually experienced anxiety was basic training in the military. Because I was a big pothead, right?
Yeah.
And I smoked major weed. I smoked major weed before I went into basic training. And just like the day before, I got there, it hit me that I'm about to quit cold turkey.
Oof.
Right?
Oof.
Because basic training, you can't do shit. You can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So I was going through anxiety on top of withdrawal and thinking about being away from my kids for 6 months. Right? It was crazy. It pushed me to smoke cigarettes, and I was never a cigarette smoker.
Wow.
I smoke weed. So the military pushed me to smoke cigarettes. It wasn't because the nicotine did something for me. It was just the habit.
It's something to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Just got
Needed to smoke
accustomed.
something.
Yeah.
So
I think people should check out the album now. Would
Yeah.
you recommend it?
I would, yeah.
I'll
Just 'cause
definitely,
it might float someone's boat, and the other side it might not.
I'ma definitely give it a listen. Maybe on my way home when I got the windows kind of cracked and I'm ready to vibe a little more, I can be open to it. What song did you recommend?
Poolside.
Poolside.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Definitely like that one that you said though. That one, definitely you guys should check that out if you haven't heard it. It's not on this album, but the
What
one
was
with
it?
her and
Jaden.
Jaden. I
What
think
was it?
Summer Fling or
Summer
Summer
Fling.
something. I know that much.
Summer Fling. Yeah, this was the
It's
album
good.
that I recommended, and Shari recommended.
J Electronica.
I was about to call him Tyler the Creator again.
Oh my god.
I was really about to say it.
J Electronica, a written testimony. What do you guys think about that one?
I think it's very Arabic. I'm just kidding. No,
What?
his I didn't even know that J Electronica was Muslim, but I guess I don't know what any religion some people are or whatever. Like, you know, I don't really like judge people for what their religion is anyway, because like I'm just not a judgy type of person. I can't be. I wasn't born like raised like that. It's not in my beliefs anyway. So I thought that was pretty interesting to learn about him. And he had Jay-Z on a lot of those tracks. The one that stood out to me the most was Flux Capacitor. Other than that, I thought the album was, I'm not gonna say dark, but it was very less upbeat than what I was hoping for. Did you get a chance to hear it?
yeah, and I loved it, man. It was refreshing. It sounded revolutionary.
Okay.
I felt like I was listening to Martin and Malcolm on the album.
Oh.
It sounded like J Electronica was like a Martin Luther King, well, Islamic Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And Jay was on some Malcolm X shit, and it made me feel good, bro. It was a very pro-black album all the way through. It made me feel pride in my culture.
Nice.
To be a black man. I loved it. My favorite track on there was Universal Soldier. That was my
that was a good
joint
one.
right there. But overall, the whole album I liked. It's really hard for me to pick a song that was my favorite. Because they were all similar, like kind of on the same level.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying as far as, you know, it wasn't an upbeat. I feel like it wasn't meant to be upbeat. I felt like it was meant to be revolutionary. I felt like it was meant to put you back in that Harlem Renaissance feeling, because he's from Harlem.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was a Harlem Renaissance type feel album. And I loved it. And, you know, like I was telling you before, like I wasn't a J Electronica fan in the beginning. To be completely transparent. But this album, yeah.
He's been around for a long time,
Yeah,
and a lot of
he's been
people
around
don't
for a
know
long
about him. You were very excited to talk about this one, right, Shari? At first.
I was looking forward to listening to J Electronica's album because I personally haven't been a fan of his, but he did come out with some mixtapes many years ago, and very early on in my rap and writing career, a lot of my peers had the utmost respect for J Electronica, and he's I guess what people would consider like a conscious or like a deep or a backpack rapper. So he was kind of pushed into this category of like the elite or some of the finest MCs, and I know that people have been anticipating this debut album for more than a decade.
while, yeah.
Right. So I felt like just being as though, you know, the world has been waiting so long. I want to tune in. I want to actually listen. I really respect and appreciate your take. This was a very, very sophisticated album. Like, there's just so many gems that were dropped, so much knowledge that was given. I couldn't even catch it all. Like, as I'm listening to Hove rap, he's making like a lot of French and cultural references that I couldn't quite grasp because I'm not Hove. I haven't traveled where he's traveled. I haven't done the business dealings. I haven't learned and experienced and been through those same walks of life. So some of the things that he was talking about, I felt like, wow, I really need to sit with the lyrics, and I might need to go back and Google certain things so I can actually fully pick it up. Right. This kind of, I would put in the same category of like a 444. This is like really grown man,
that was my album
sophisticated rap. This isn't what I typically lean towards, the pop commercial hip hop. This was something different, and I respect it for what it was. I'm gonna have to go back and dissect it and break it down a little more. Jay being on 8 out of 10 of these tracks, like, Jay was stellar. He performed, he showed up, he gave everything that I would expect Jay to, and it was also kind of like it was definitely Hove's lane, but you got to see just more of it. You know, I liked it. I liked it. And I'm looking forward to hearing how it'll age over time. So as I continue to grow and learn and travel, those references I'll start to pick up naturally, right? It's kind of like if you never heard a word before, you never heard of something, and then somebody tells you about it, now everywhere you go, it's popping up. So I'm looking for this album to kind of like just be like that kind of representation in my life. As I learn and as I grow, when I go back and listen, what will I have picked up and those dots that I connected. Exactly.
His teeth look like that all the time?
I'm done.
I never seen him before, really. Like, so
that's not how I would expect him to look.
I didn't know.
From what I've heard of him, that reminds me, like, 08 Gucci. A little bit.
like he gonna be on that Travis Scott type lane, but nah, it's like different. You hear it?
So I did, and I don't really know much about him. I do know that he has a child with Erykah Badu.
Does he?
Yeah. So I think he only has one child actually, and it's with her.
Is the child named 11?
No, that's Mars is his child.
'Cause they got a child named 7. Her, and Andre 3000.
You gonna say 11?
Right?
I hate you.
7-11.
No, it's Mars, I believe, but
Mars
that's not
Makeba,
any
like say.
Mars, like the planet. But anyway, but no, as we were listening to it earlier, me and Shari was saying something about it reminds me a little bit of Cameron. It's not necessarily like his flow, but like the way he sounds more so.
Okay.
And then it made sense that you said he's from Harlem. I'm like, okay, that's probably why. Just the slang, the tone of his voice may be why I'm getting that. But I can definitely tell it's definitely a deep album just by listening to just a few tracks on there. But it's definitely not your commercial rap, not your, like, you would have to be a fan to know about, you know what I mean, to just be like, I'm going to put that on. But it's, it was some stuff you can vibe out to.
Did you have like a favorite track on there?
Not necessarily, but I listened to the one that you said with the Flux. Yeah, that one. And that's the one I said that he reminded me of Cameron on a little bit. But it was just the sound, not the way that he's rapping necessarily. Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, I think it was definitely worth a listen.
You have a favorite track on there that you have?
Shiny Suit Theory, and I was actually surprised to find out that came out many, many, many years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so he had what I liked about the album is that it answered some of those questions. So people have been wondering, like, Jay Electronica, like, why did you take so long to come out with this album? And it sounded like he was talking about, being very vulnerable in that fear of flying. You know, you have people like Hove and Diddy saying, dog, like, you owe it to your mom and to your sister to go out here and get this money so they don't have to go to work every day.
Right.
And even though he might have felt like, oh, my pen is crazy and I can rap, there was still kind of that fear of, like, really putting the music out and people critiquing it and giving opinions. And I liked how he referenced that on Shiny Suit Theory, which I found out again is a 5 or 10-year-old record, but that was one of my favorites. And there's that Diddy thing, right? I love Diddy, I love Puff, that's my guy. So he captured, I guess, a conversation that he had with Puff, and Puff's kind of like putting his foot in his behind, like, dog, like, what are you doing? You owe it to your family and to yourself to be the man that you know that you are. Right. And the record really captured that. So I would say Shiny Suit Theory is probably that's my favorite.
It's almost like you, like being behind the scenes with music or whatever. He did a lot of writing for different artists, and he's like a legend in the rap game. And that's like, a lot of people don't even know who Jay Electronica is unless like you're in the underground hip hop world. Right. And he is very conscious. And that's my, one of my styles of hip hop that I really enjoy, conscious rap. And, like, it's not even that, it's like conscious. Like, anybody with like lyrics and bars, I fuck with them. And, when I heard it, I was like, okay, let's not go too off to where like young people aren't going to be able to like listen to it. And I don't really feel like you did, that too much. Like, remember we were talking about Kiss album the week before, and we were saying how it was a little bit outdated. I don't really feel like this was outdated. It's just is that category that it is in,
Right.
and you have to be, if you're a fan of that, then you'll really enjoy the album.
Right.
All right.
I agree.
Now tonight we have a guest, old friend of mine.
That's right.
Old friend of mine. Tido Brown. He is a CEO, All Access. Well, I actually want you to talk about that a little bit. Like, what is it that you want to share with our Gabbos and Gabettes about what you're doing right now?
Oh man, I'm a man of many hats. So I'm the CFO and co-founder of Access Purpose, which is a brand development company for artists, music artists, sports athletes, and small businesses. I'm also the CEO of my own company called K&K Consulting, which I actually do online branding and development, marketing for companies, graphic design, websites, things of that nature. I manage a viral artist named Michael Trapson.
Michael Trapson?
Yeah, it's the trap version of Michael Jackson.
I can't.
Man.
A lot.
I do a lot, man. I teach an entrepreneurship class to inner city kids in Philadelphia.
Nice.
I started multiple businesses with just my in-house family, with my wife and my kids. My wife, we started a cleaning company. We started, she's actually working on a natural health care line. Natural health care line called Egyptian Curl. She's doing that with my daughter. My daughter and my wife also started a men's bracelet company called King Me.
Nice.
And we're a family of hustlers.
Dope.
Yeah,
Well, we got some questions for you tonight, but before we start off some questions, we're gonna do a little something different
Okay.
with our guest tonight. You cool with that?
No.
All right, cool. So we're just gonna show a couple of pictures, and we want to know the background of that picture, like what you were doing, who these people are, where you were at, and things like that. All right, so let's start with the first one.
All right, so that's my man Michael Trapson and my homie Head Crack. We were.
Wait, that's not Michael Jackson?
No, it's Michael Trapson.
Oh, okay.
Google him, man.
Nah, he's funny. I know.
Major.
I've been seeing his videos. Before I even knew that you managed him,
Yeah.
I was like seeing his videos and stuff. Funny as shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's the guy on the right? He looks familiar. Is he
That's
on a
Head
talk
Crack.
show or something?
Yeah, that's us on the Ricky Smiley morning
Okay.
show. We
Okay.
were in Atlanta. Head Crack was a huge fan of Michael Trapson, so we flew out there. We did the Ricky Smiley morning show, and then we also he also booked us for a show with Ed Lover.
Okay.
So Ed Lover did his comedy act, and then me and Michael Trapson went on stage and performed our show down there. It was dope. It was a very dope situation.
What about this one right here?
All right, so these are my guys, man. These are my partners of Access Purpose. You got Vance in the middle, and you got my homie Kay on the right. And this is us at the major record label showcase. So
Your own showcase that y'all did, or
no, so actually what we did is we collabed with Will Styles. Will Styles is based out of New York City. He works with Def Jam, and he started a major record labels showcase out there. So with our company, being that we that we work with unsigned artists, we have them come to the showcase out in New York, where they actually perform in front of A&Rs for the major record labels. So Def Jam, Republic Records, Hot 97, Empire, Quality Control. There's an A&R literally for every major record label.
Yeah.
There, so that's what we provide, to the unsigned artists that we work with.
All right. Last one, right here. Explain this.
All right, so this is funny, man. This is at. Oh man, I don't want to mess the name up. All right, this is TAP, right? So TAP is an esports center in Philadelphia. It's located in Chinatown. Me and our company, we actually connected with an esports team called DCX, and that's my guy Nick on the right, and we got Wiz right behind me, standing behind me. Weez, I'm sorry. And we actually teamed up with the esports team and connected with the esports company to actually do an esports program for kids. Mm-hmm. And then also introduce esports to the Iverson Classic. So that's another business entity that we work with. We work with Allen Iverson, and he does a round ball classic every year. Nice. And we were trying to implement esports with the top high school basketball players in the nation. Esports is a very big growing business. Yeah. And so, we're just trying to, hit the curve before it blows up in Philly, because they actually have a major esports center that's about to be developed in Philadelphia in 2020. So, like
this year. We're in
2022. I'm sorry. 2022. My fault. So, we're very innate on catching the waves before they hit majorly. Okay. As we should. And so, like I said, we connected with some esports people. Not just TAP, but we actually connected with Local Host too. Local Host is the actual esports center within the Sixers Wells Fargo Center. Mm-hmm. So we did some business with them too. So
nice. Well, we got some questions for you tonight.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that you have a mentorship program for children and that you're teaching them financial literacy and entrepreneurship. Could you talk a little bit more about that and some things that you're teaching the kids that you feel they should know very early on?
Gladly. So, just being in Philadelphia, there's a lot of poverty in Philadelphia. The kids, they only see, especially kids in inner cities, they only see three things. They see sports players, drug dealers, and people that work. Nobody talks about entrepreneurship and making money in legal ways. And then also music. They see music too. So we felt that it was very important for us to do an entrepreneurship program with kids. So we teach them about just the basics. You'd be surprised how much kids don't know about just banking, just normal opening up a bank account, filling out deposit slips, savings accounts, safety deposits, 401ks, Roth accounts, IRAs, things of that nature. So we teach them about banking, we teach them about credit, and then we also teach them about entrepreneurship. So yeah, man, that's actually a passion of mine. And I'm very serious about it. I think that's the most serious thing that I take the most personal out of all the businesses I have, is teaching these kids how to be financially, literate. Because even me, I had to learn on my own. There's a lot of things I had to learn on my own. I didn't even know anything about income tax checks. Until I got my first job. I'm like, oh, so this is how my mom gets furniture and gets cars and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't, just little stuff like that. And then also the narrative is that, especially in the hood, that kids think that it takes like $20,000, $10,000 to start a business. Mm-hmm. When in actuality, it only costs $250 to $400, depending on whether you do the paperwork yourself, or you get a company to do it.
You got an LLC too, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's my company. I got an LLC too, so it's really easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but they don't know that,
right?
And that's why it's so far gone for kids to to comprehend.
Yeah, a lot of adults who don't know how to get their LLC.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And So yeah, so that's very important and close to my heart is teaching the kids financial literacy and entrepreneurship, especially in times like this with the coronavirus and being home. You know, like it's good to just make some money dependently on your own. You know what I mean, and I feel like that's very important because if you study the successful, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Right. They don't just settle for one income. We have a lot of people out here. They just have their one job, and anything can happen to that one job. You know what I mean? Like just this coronavirus situation
like right
in
now.
general. Just right now. Like,
right.
So it's always good to have fallbacks. And what I like to teach the kids is the chair rule. So what I do is I have the kids stand up, right? And I tell them to stand on one leg, and I'll push them. I'm like, let's categorize that one leg as your job. Now I just pushed you. You stumbling. Now stand on 2 feet. Now you got your job and you got your hustle. Right. Now when I push you, you're just a little bit more sturdier, right? Right. So now we get to sit them in the chair. I'm like, now sit on the chair. So now you got your job, you got your hustle. Your chair has 4 legs. Those are different hustles, right? So now when you lose your job, kick your feet up, you're still solid, you're still secure. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I try to break it down in ways that they can understand. And that's how it was broken down to me. So I break it down to them, and I try to give them that same educational feedback. So
it's dope.
I like that. I'm gonna have to borrow that with the chairs.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, so I have a question for you. If you could name a challenging experience that you had or ran into while managing one of your clients.
Oh wow. Things not going according to plan, right? So we had the biggest challenge is that booking things outside of the city that you don't see, like blindly. So we've had some mishaps with clients with going to South by Southwest, right? You don't really know South by Southwest until you go down there, right? And it's very disappointing to a lot of people.
Well, Southwest?
South by South, absolutely. Because it's not what you think.
I went last year. I had a ball.
Not gonna say too much.
Well,
Just bash Norristown too much last week, but no, Southwest.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It depends on the stage. If you got a good stage, you good.
Right.
But most of the time, they're not good stages. It'd be like, and especially people that perform like during the day, afternoon, you're not performing in front of nobody. There's nobody there. Certain stages look nice on paper. They look nice on flyers. But when you get there, it's a totally different situation.
Really?
So I guess that would be like the biggest mishap of dealing with artists is literally, not knowing what you're getting into. But other than that, it's fine, man. We haven't really had too many setbacks other than that. So, but we learned from that lesson. Right. We did our research. We actually connected with Rel Carter, who was an A&R for Rock Nation, and he does a phenomenal South by Southwest situation. They actually do it in a mansion. It's called the Carter House, and they do it in a mansion setting, and it's just a beautiful situation. So that's all we deal with in South by Southwest now. You know what I mean? We learned our lesson from the last time, right? And now we just deal with Rel Carter, and we know that Rel Carter is always going to deliver, right? And everybody's always going to have a good time. So it's a learning experience. You know what I mean? You learn as you go along. So right.
Okay. When you first said South by Southwest, I thought you were talking about Southwest Philly. That's why I was like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. But so you were a war veteran, Army veteran. Were you in the Army?
Yeah, in the Army. Yep.
How long were you in the Army?
Since 2010.
Okay, so when you
9 years
after the Army, what is it, or like what point were you at where you're like, music is what I want to do, and like be into that?
No, I've been doing music before the Army. So I've been doing music since I was 15. as we was talking about before, I wanted to be a rapper. And
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so that's how I started in the music. I wanted to be a rapper. And so at 15, I was asking different producers for beats. And they were saying, 800 here, 500 there. I'm like, I'm 15, I don't have that kind of money, right? So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to make my own beats. I'll figure it out. So I just started making my own beats. And I got so good at making beats, I said, fuck rap. I'm going to make beats because I was making instant money with the beats.
Mm-hmm.
The rap is more so like an investment in yourself. You know what I mean? Like you don't really see a return on your investment too fast in rap.
Right.
But in beats, I was making money instantly. And this was back when CDs were out.
Mm-hmm.
So I started, my first company was Skywalker Productions. And I started with I started with my friend, my close homie Justin. And this was back when CDs was out, and we literally was in this house, and we burned 300 CDs. And our marketing strategy was to go to every barbershop and just put a bunch of CDs in every barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave the CDs out for free.
Mm-hmm.
The CDs on top of them had our prices on it and our phone numbers. So if you wanted, one beat, it was like $20, and we did, like lease agreement. So $20 for one beat. $5 for 50 beats, things of that nature, and phones was ringing off the hook. Mm-hmm. But that was just all guerrilla marketing. You know what I mean? And I had to teach myself how to build a website. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about this story is that it's very important to follow your passion because you never know where it's going to take you. Mm-hmm. So I went from rapping to making beats to figuring out how to market my beats. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I need a website. How do you build a website? I started building websites. Oh shit, I know how to make websites now. Mm-hmm. I started making websites for other people. I need a logo for my company. Oh shit, I know how to do graphic design now. Mm-hmm. So now I started doing graphic design. So you dig what I'm saying? Like, just follow your passion. And as you go along, you're going to run into roads that you never thought you would run into. Mm-hmm. And I went, from making beats. I actually met Prett making beats.
Yes.
He was my first customer.
MySpace days.
Yeah.
I was your first customer.
You were my first customer. So I did guerrilla marketing, hand in hand, and I did my MySpace. Mm-hmm. And I also built my website. It was called Beats for Rhymes. And
I remember
that
website.
That was the first person.
It's crazy. I didn't know that because I remember you hit me up. And you were the first person I've ever made original music with. Yeah. You're the first producer I've ever worked with doing original music. Now I got a lot of people that hit me up all the time. But just so y'all know, Tido Brown discovered Prett.
Yeah.
In a way, if you look at it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I went to all your shows. You know what
I remember you came to one show, you was like, you don't got to pay for nothing else. Like, you and your wife came to my show, you was like, you don't got to pay for no more beats, yo. You got it.
Because I understood the struggle. You know what I mean? Like I was an artist and people was knocking me over the head with $500. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make my beats hot and I'm gonna make my prices low so that people can flourish. But there was a
caveat to that.
Yeah, there was a backdraft to that. So, because of my kids, the music that people were making my beats to, I couldn't play for them. Mm. And that kind of was like eating away at me, right? Because I'm like, all right, they hear me in the process of making these beats, and my son, he used to rap on my beats all the time. 2 years old, 3 years old, freestyling, right? Mm-hmm. And it was inspirational, but the fact that they would, be there for the process of me making beats and then can't hear the finished product, it made me look for an artist that made radio music.
Right.
And then that's when I ran into my guy, OG Kano, who is currently Michael Trapson. Okay. Right? But he wasn't Michael Trapson all the time. He was OG Kano when I met him. He was 17. And he freestyled everything. Right? It was mind-blowing watching him work. Right? Because he was hot. It was hot as shit. And it was freestyle. And I never gassed him up. Because I wanted to keep him hungry. So I never gassed him. I was like, keep working. And eventually it got to a point where I stopped making beats for everybody. I just started making beats for him. Mm-hmm. And I was, because my kids were listening to it, and eventually, stuck with him. And I knew he was going to blow up. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew he was going to blow up. And this Michael Trapson literally happened by accident, bro. He was being funny. That's his nephew right there, right?
Yeah.
So his nephew, I actually introduced him to Fruity Loops. And he was out in LA in college, and he was making beats. And he came back, and we was in his room, and we was like, all right, let's hear what you got. So he came back, played his beats. Kano was just being funny. He was like, yo, what if Michael Jackson rapped to this genre, right?
Yeah.
And just started freestyling like Mike. And he was like, yo, man, you think I should do a video for it? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I mean, like, why not? Like, so he ended up doing a video for it, and it went 2 million views the first week.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I'm like, he like, yo, he said, what do you think I should do? I'm like, nigga, keep going. You know what I mean? I'm like, give him some more, right? So I wasn't in the first video because, you know, I was older at the time, and I was like, yeah, that's for kids. I was in the second video, though. I made sure I was in the second video. And, you know, as time went by, all his videos just started going viral, multi-million views, and we started going on tour. We started getting gigs, and it really opened my doors to the music industry because the fact that everything happened so fast, he didn't have any representation. So I went from being a rapper to a music producer to a music manager, and I had to learn the business
Quickly.
fast. So it made me learn the business, and I learned everything about, you know, publishing, copyrights, masters, contracts, performance contracts, everything. So it molded me into music business.
Yeah.
And then I went from music business to you know, access purpose. So it's funny how things work, man. It's just, you know,
So
you
how
learn
can
as you
people
go
get in
along.
contact with you?
You can actually contact us on accesspurpose.com. My Instagram is Tido_accesspurpose. Those are the best ways to contact me, though.
All right. So we have a segment on our show. It's called Random Questions.
Okay.
You have a random question that you have to ask us.
All right. How do you guys feel about the climate of the rap industry right now? Like, how do y'all feel about it? Do y'all feel like it's elevating? Do you feel like it's taking a downward spiral? Like,
You mean the quality of the music?
the quality
You mean
of the music?
the
Like,
quality of the
where
music.
do you see it going? Like,
I think hip hop is evolving. It doesn't look the same way that it did back in the late 70s, early 80s. I think there's plenty of room. I feel like there's more money in hip hop than there has ever been. We're seeing black billionaires, we're seeing Jay, we're seeing Puff, we're seeing people do things that are unprecedented. I feel like there's a lot of money in hip hop, there's a lot of opportunity in hip hop. I don't necessarily think that the quality of the music is necessarily like decreasing or going away. I think it's just a matter of people kind of finding what it is that they like. We're seeing Jay-Z like tour and produce new music and new projects at almost 50. We're not really accustomed to seeing that. We always thought that there was like kind of a ceiling for, like, oh, you 35, you too old to be rapping.
Not anymore.
It's not the same way anymore. You know, you got DMX and you got Lil' Kim and you got some of our favorite rappers that we listened to growing up, like still doing tours and getting money and being successful. I don't think the quality of the music in hip hop is deteriorating at all. I think it's actually broadened, and I feel like hip hop is just one umbrella term. Like you got trap, you got rap, you got different types, a lot of different genres, and I feel like there's something in there for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool that you pointed that out, because it's like, it is something for everybody. So it's not like just one style of rapping anymore, like the way it was probably when it first came out. It's like kind of everybody kind of sounded the same, kind of doing the same type of flow, your basic stuff, like whatever, I'm not going to rap. But anyway, yeah, but I think that nowadays it's so much easier to get recognized, so much easier to blow up in a sense, because of everything so instant. You've got all these social medias and everything, whatever have you. But I mean, in a way, it's good because people probably don't have to work so hard. But once you're there, you got to work hard to stay there.
Right.
Because, you know, you don't want to be like a one-hit wonder, you know, with one song that's popular. And then they're like, oh, that's that person that made such and such song. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So just sometimes you are put in that situation. As you mentioned, like, you got to learn quick. Like, all right, I blew up. This is where I'm at. What's next? You got to stay relevant in order to be successful. And then that may lead you to somewhere else. Maybe you made a song because you're just an excellent writer. There's a lot of artists that I think do a better job behind the scenes. Me personally, I think one of those people are like Neo or like what's the girl's name? Carrie Hilson.
Carrie Hilson.
Like, I'm not saying that they can't be an artist, but they're so talented that they sometimes do better and make more money when they're behind the scenes using their writing skills, or you're not necessarily being the artist. Because Neo, the last couple albums, he could sing his ass off, but they're not making no numbers because you're better probably behind the scenes. Right. So, you know, it's like different avenues. Find what your niche is and see where it takes you.
It's so funny you say Carrie Hilson because one of my employees, like she was just saying how Carrie Hilson's career never took off because of Beyonce.
She definitely made that vital mistake.
So you say she's enjoying behind the scenes, like you like her behind the scenes?
Because she can sing. She can sing.
And
she can, but I think like she was better off like being behind the scenes. She was better off behind the scenes than being an artist, because then like you're like, wow, she wrote that, like certain songs you didn't know that she did write for, versus her just trying to be a Beyonce. Like she just wasn't that performer.
Y'all gonna grind me up if I call Carrie Hilson bad?
As soon as
I knew it was coming.
You talked about Carrie Hilson, I knew it was coming.
It grind me up because like a lot of people talk about the show and I just be like, oh, she bad.
Yeah, everything.
Like, Dom has a type.
Literally,
that's what it is.
Like Rosa Parks and things like that.
You got a type.
Oh wait,
I'm
sorry.
I'm noticing a trend.
I did love Vivica Fox though. I was obsessed with her. I had pictures of her in my locker.
Vivica isn't an exception. She's also in the same kind of. I'm gonna push her over there.
Yeah, kind of. Hollywood kind of made her that way.
I like black women. What do you want me to do?
Well,
but no.
Yeah, but no, that's definitely It's like now you are able to do more with your platform. I think it's not, you don't have to just be start as a rapper and then be a rapper forever.
I'm a big critique when it comes to hip hop. We're all artists, you know. Shari's with me on that hip hop type time too. So I would say it hasn't declined from what it was. I feel like we already hit the decline. Like when, like, you know, back when Nas was making like that album, Hip Hop Is Dead and all that, like, you know, and then after that, like, there was a time where I just didn't like any music that was coming on. Yeah. But then, you know, we got J. Cole's now. We have Kendrick's. Right. We have Wale's. Now to where it's like, okay, the industry is just diverse now. There's all different types of, like, you know, there's not just hip hop anymore. It's trap music. You got rap. You got freestyle. You got battles that are blowing up right now, which is like the main thing. So I think it is on the incline because of these people. And I will say there's one thing, because I have one of my favorite hip hop artists right now that just doesn't get much buzz and things like that. Is Dave East.
Okay.
Dave East. He's one of my like newest like rappers that are around right now. But yeah, we still got the streets in it. We got the fun in it now. We got the dumbness in it. Right. We got everything in hip hop. You got Shari Dubois.
There you go.
Got Don Prett. You know, we got Amber Dawn.
I just be on the
She
hook.
got bars.
I believe it.
She got bars.
I do, but I'm not a rapper at all. Just for fun. I stick to the singing.
Yeah.
Y'all made great points though. Like, hip hop is evolving, it's changing, and like we can get music a lot more quickly than we could back in the day. So before you had to have a big budget, go to the studio, be locked away for 6 months, 8 months. Now we can record a song literally right now if we wanted to. You know, and I feel like that. it doesn't always translate the same. So if we make a song in 5 minutes, you know,
Right.
it might be a cool little bop and we might
Right.
enjoy it for a short period of time. Is it something that's gonna withstand
longevity
the
and
test of
longevity.
time and have longevity? Maybe not, because we're coming out with the music a lot more quickly
Right.
than we did in the past. So I think that is something that has to be factored in there too. We're not taking 6 months to work on a
One
body of
song.
work. Yeah.
It could just really, it's just about being catchy. Honestly, it's not even what you say. It could be
Facts.
the stupidest thing ever. Look at the coronavirus with Cardi B. Like, how is that even a song?
It's on like
Yeah,
a Billboard
it's on
chart
there.
right now.
My
Yeah.
sister sent that to
My
me.
God, like,
And move like a snake, John.
yeah, like what?
Yeah, that's all she said.
Ooh, like a
Yeah,
snake.
Like
that's
a
all.
snake,
Like a
That's
snake.
what I say. Like,
Like a snake.
It's
That
on
is
Billboard
so
sister
right
sent
now.
that to me.
So
It,
Shout out
that
to
is
Robin.
just one little catchy thing, and you like, that's it.
All right, so
all right. So this week for Women's History Month, we're honoring Miss Toni Morrison. This is a beautiful photo. Whoever selected it,
my
makes me-
pick, by the way.
makes me feel really
I picked her
warm-
this week.
Warm inside.
Uh-oh.
Miss Toni Morrison is a Pulitzer Prize winner, a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and also a Nobel Prize winner. She's a very esteemed Black essayist, author, just incredible person. Toni Morrison really wrote from a perspective of the oppressed, and she spoke about Black women and her experiences. And one of the things that I just appreciate about her legacy is that she didn't soften her writing to cater to a particular audience. She didn't paint pictures and illustrate stories where the protagonist was this white character who was privileged. She wrote about Black women and our experiences and slavery and stuff that was based on true stories. And she went on to be like a New York Times best-selling author, and got the acclaim that I felt she deserves.
Right.
Toni Morrison has helped to open up the doors and pave the way for a lot of Black authors. And I feel like you can't celebrate Toni Morrison enough.
Yeah.
And she,
I
and
love
she
the
was,
throw in
and
that
she
pic.
was bad.
No, she was a very powerful author. Now that I'm
See
seeing
that,
her
right.
face, I know exactly who she is now.
In the younger photos, right? You
no,
recognize her more
actually
so?
the older photos, because that's when I got familiar with her.
Really?
She did a very powerful interview with she put some white lady that was interviewing her in a place, and it was very powerful, man. Like she reminds me of my wife, man. Like my wife is very pro-Black, very pro-Black woman, and Toni Morrison, she embodies all that, man. Like
Nice.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for her, man. Like she's a very powerful woman. Like she's on the same lines as Maya Angelou.
Oh.
You know, they're in the
Wow.
same.
I
honestly
love
feel like
Maya
You're
Angelou.
Yo, they're in
This
the
whole
same-
production team and set knows I love Maya Angelou because that was actually my original pick
Yeah.
for Black
Every week.
for Women's History Month
Yeah.
to do Maya Angelou. I got grinded up.
But-
do somebody that no one
No,
knows.
yeah, that's
do
what
someone
I'm-
that no
I
one
was
knows.
actually going to
There you
say
go.
that.
Toni Morrison.
I'm glad that you picked Toni Morrison because
Right.
Thank you, brother.
she's in that same classification.
And thank you, production, for
people don't-
making me choose
problem.
differently.
Different.
Absolutely.
problem.
And people don't know too much about her, man. So I'm glad that y'all shed light on her.
I
man.
recognize
There
her
we
more from
go.
the younger
That's fine. That's what I'm
photos.
talking about.
I feel like I've seen her in more things in her younger years for some reason. That's jumping out to me.
Oh, wow.
So I don't
What'd you
know.
learn
Maybe
about her?
maybe that might have been through school or something. I'm just trying to figure out where. It might have been like maybe one of her books that I saw with that picture because I don't really recognize her as in her later years.
Yeah. What'd you like learn
Yeah.
about her that stood out to you?
It just definitely her winning the Nobel Prize for
Yeah.
her. Nobel Prize for her literature.
Nobel
That's
Peace
like
Prize,
what
yeah.
sticks out the most to me.
Yeah. What made me pick her? You guys know I wanted to do Maya Angelou. No, what made me pick her though was that she's a writer, and that's why I love Maya Angelou so much because like Maya Angelou was a woman that was like a big influence to me when I was younger. I had her book, like the best poems like she ever wrote book. So I wanted to do someone that could shine in that Maya Angelou light,
Right.
and that's Toni Morrison. And like her name's actually Chloe.
I was gonna say that. That's not
didn't
even
know
her real name.
Yeah, her
Chloe
name's like
something.
Chloe, and then like Anthony something.
Yeah.
Wolford and Morrison, and like that's why she goes by Toni.
Right.
She was born in February 18th, 1931, and she died August 5th, of 2019. So it's very, very recent. She just passed away. She was 88 years old. I pray that all of us in this room right now live to see 88. When she was 15, a group of white men lynched 2 black businessmen who lived on her block. And their father, seen it, and he had to, lie to the kids, oh, no, that didn't happen. But she graduated from Cornell University, 1955, and she wrote her first book was the Bluest Eye. She woke up at 4 o'clock every single morning to write that book, and she did that while raising 2 children alone.
Power to her, because the struggle.
Yeah, it's a struggle. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993, which is when I was blossoming in hip hop at the time. Like that's when I first started writing
and stuff.
Yeah, what was that? 1993. I was 7 years old. So yeah, around the time, I literally wrote my first rap a year later. I just love that she was a writer and that she wrote for our people, and I just thought that it was very important for us to talk about her in this light since we're doing Women's History Month. I don't feel like a lot of women or people know who she is.
You don't?
Not enough. Not enough. So that's why I brought her. Y'all ain't bash me for
I let it go. I let it go.
I let it go too.
I love her locks.
I let it rock.
I love her locks. I love her woman fro.
Yeah.
I loved it.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about dating someone with kids. And if you are willing to date someone with kids, is there a limit to how many kids that you're willing for them to have? Speak on it.
Dating with a kid limit, huh? So
With a kid at all. Plus, there's a limit.
All right. Well, I'm starting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna mention this. I am a father, and I am single. And I'd be like, I'm a single father. They'd be like, oh, you take care of your daughter by yourself? And I'd be like, nah, fuck you mean? I'm single and I'm a father. It is hard when you have kids and you're dating. And I'll tell you this, right? So I'm gonna ask y'all this question real quick. So, if you're a woman that has kids, you'd be like, when are you free? What do women say?
Never.
I don't know because I don't have children. I don't know what you're asking.
Okay.
You're saying if you're a woman that has kids,
If you're a woman that has kids, you'd be like, yo, so when are you free? What do women say?
that they're busy or they have to find time or make time.
If they have any time, when do you think it will be?
When the kids are asleep?
I'll give you the answer.
Nights or weekends?
The weekends.
Yeah.
When the dad has the kids.
If you ask a father that has kids,
it ain't the weekend.
when is he free?
All the time.
During the week and all the time.
No. Oh, all right. So y'all got this all wrong because I'm actually a dad.
Enlighten us.
I'm actually a dad, and I'm going to let y'all know how it goes in my life.
Enlighten us.
Oh, we should link up. When are you free? I'm free on the weekends. When are you free? Well, I have my daughter on the weekends, so I'm free during the week. Mm-hmm. With two parents that are actually like, you got the guy, you got the woman, both of them are actually being parents.
Okay.
The woman is more free on the weekend. You got the Saturdays, Sundays, or whatever. And then they asking me when I'm free. I got my daughter those days.
That makes sense.
Okay.
No, when you see most single fathers or whatever, or like fathers that are single, let's say that, when you see fathers that are single, when do they usually have their kids?
On the weekends.
On the weekends. I get my daughter on the week a couple days, or like, one day is mandatory. Like, well, nothing's mandatory, but like, I get my daughter on like Thursdays too. It's like I got a system set up every week, same structure. Mm-hmm. But some days it'll be like Monday I need you to pick her up, so I'll get her like on a Monday. So, but other than that, it's the weekends all the time.
To be honest with you, I feel like it depends on the situation. So like, I grew up in a household where my mom and dad wasn't together, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mom had me 1 week. My dad had me 1 week. Mom had me 1 week. Dad had me 1 week. They switched weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I live with my mom, but on the weeks of my dad would pick us up from school.
Okay.
Right? And then we would go to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And then at a certain time, he'll drop us back off home and then go to sleep. And then we'll go to school. And then for the weeks of my mom, we just stay home.
Yeah.
My mom had us. So I honestly feel like it depends on the situation and also the parents and their communication. You know what I mean? It's very important. Because, like, even though, you know, my parents might have had their differences, those differences were set aside when it came to us. They really co-parented and really communicated. And some families ain't like that. You know what I mean? There's some bitter women out here that will keep their kids away from their father, right? Or you just got some deadbeat fathers out here that don't want nothing to do with their kids and stuck with the mom. You know what I mean? So it's literally, I think it depends on the situation. You know what I mean? Now, just that situation might work for you as far as you having your children on the weekend and they being with their moms on the weekdays. But I just feel like it's all situational.
Yeah.
So
We try to make it even, but like the main question right now, which
Yeah.
I am dying to get the Shari over there.
You didn't answer. You didn't say if it was a yes or no. Like, would you date someone with kids, or what is the limit?
Well,
like, is there a
who,
limit?
me?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna spin back around to me. I'm dying to
She's
get the
itching
Shari
over there.
over here.
She's like,
So, because me and Shari, we had conversations.
This has been bubbling up for weeks now.
You single?
I am single.
Hey, the Empress is single, y'all. She is single. And listen, me and you talked before, and you have said that you prefer a man without kids.
Right.
At the age that we are right now, even.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm not 40. I'm 31.
and it's a small window.
For the record.
30's the new 40.
Whatever. My preference is not to date men with children. Love is very complicated. I've been in and out of love a few times in my life. It's hard for two individual people to navigate that. When you bring in a child or children and another woman, that's a hard limit and a hard no for me.
Yeah.
A lot of the reasons why I don't want to date a man with a child is rooted in selfishness, but it's also rooted in realness.
Right.
I have an issue with another woman having access to my man. Just because you're the baby mom doesn't mean that you're going to be able to contact him and disrupt or interrupt whatever we got going on because you feel like you can because you're the baby mom.
Right.
I'm not comfortable with that. So when I booked the birthday vacation to Bali and we're somewhere else and we're enjoying each other's company, I don't want Keisha texting you anytime she wants to text you because she wants to sit at home and be petty.
Ooh. And her name is probably Keisha too.
It's probably Keisha. I think a lot of it, I don't have children, so I want to experience having my first child with someone who also hasn't had their first child.
Right.
So when I'm on the couch and I got gas and the baby's kicking, I need him to be equally hype. I need all of that energy. That whole, it's just a little gas, you fine, the baby be all right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Keisha had that before.
I'm not
Keisha always had that.
Exactly. I need you jumping up and down.
That ain't nothing but a fart.
I need the excitement. Exactly. You're talking about scheduling arrangements and hanging out with somebody and we having to coordinate schedules. When I'm ready to be out, I'm ready to be out. Right. So I gotta wait for you to drop your kids off and pick them up. I'm not with that. Right. I'm not with it. The drama, the foolishness, the carrying on, her disrespecting you, using the children to manipulate you is not okay with me.
No, that's going to disrupt your relationship, and I don't think that's selfish at all for you to say that.
I have so much respect for the women who can have the blended families, who can take on the kids and all that. I'm not with that shit. I'm not with it.
Would you ever?
Would you though?
Would I ever? I've dated men with children. It hasn't been positive experiences for me. When I was 17, I dated a guy who had a kid and his baby mom decided she wanted to call me. How about you come visit me?
Wait, how's she get to them?
I don't know.
Oh, you was about to fuck her? Oh.
To this day, I don't know. It's just not a situation that I feel like I can be comfortable with. Like me as a woman, I know what it is that I will and won't allow. I know what I can and cannot accept, and I know what I will and won't tolerate. And disrespect in this baby mom and this whole other situation that has to be factored into our relationship, I'm not cool with it. I'm not cool with you being tapped into another woman's household. So whatever's happening over there now, 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to get up out of our bed to go fight Keisha's boyfriend because your kids are over there. I ain't with it.
Nope.
I'm not with it. The child support, like, it's just certain things that I do not have the patience for, and I know myself. I don't want to have to step out of character. I live a very happy, drama-free, peaceful life. I want that for myself and my partner. If we gotta have all of this other baby dads and baby, I'm good. I'm good.
But I think that's smart that you're taking that approach though, because that you know yourself and you're going into something with that. You know what I mean? You're not just going to be like, oh well, let's just try this and then make a mess out of everything.
One more thing I want to add.
What's your limit? I want you to.
What's your limit?
Got no limit.
No kids.
No at all.
No kids.
Oh, okay.
I meet you. You're attractive. You're a good-looking guy. We're talking. Nice to get
I
to
don't
know
have
you.
a shot then.
You have a child.
Damn it, my shot's going.
I
Keep it rolling.
I actually,
I'm cool.
I actually can respect that.
That's
man,
what I'm saying, because she's not being selfish.
Yeah, and you know what you want. You know what I mean? So,
One more part of that is if the person I was dating, if I'm dating a guy and he has a child, I'm going to love your child because I love you.
Right.
And I recognize that you and this other woman that you had this kid with, y'all are going to have your own ideas on how to parent. Me being in your life and being in this child's life, I'm now an advocate for this child. So I'm going to want to speak up and give my opinions and give my ideas. But really, it's none of my business.
Right.
And more importantly, it's not my place.
Right.
And that would hurt me, knowing that I'm a part of this child's life and the parents maybe feel one thing and I might feel like I've got an idea or maybe this is the way that we should go. It's not my business. It's not my place. So having to sit back and take that back seat and bite my tongue and hold on to that, I ain't that woman. I can't get with it.
Some people who aren't even like a legitimate step parent, like you're not actually even married to that person, they do think that they have the right by dating that person that they have a say on your child.
And speaking on,
and that's why I don't think I would be able to deal with that. But obviously that wouldn't happen to me because I mean I'm married, I have my own kids, but in a sense that I didn't, that's kind of always been a thing. I never ever wanted to date anyone with kids. Like I don't think I actually ever did anyway.
Well, let's say God forbid or whatever. I'm gonna go into this.
I would still say no. I agree everything she said. I don't even care that I have kids. Listen, I'm coming in. This is my tribe. I got 2 kids. I don't even have a tribe. There's only 2 kids. But listen, like I think it's so much easier for the woman to say that versus the man. That's what I think.
No, so what do you think? God forbid
So
anything happen in like
No.
you know it was like
kids.
circumstances to where like you were dating or whatever. You had 5, so
I honestly feel like it has to do with the age. That's my personal opinion. Because like at some point you're gonna have to deal with kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like as you get older.
Yeah, if you were older, I guess maybe.
You know what I mean?
You're not gonna
You're
find
going to
that
have
person.
to deal with it. Now, if you're younger, if you're, teenage, 20s, all right, you got some wiggle room. After 35.
I'm not 35.
No.
I agree though.
I'm putting it out there. I wasn't, per se talking about
Specifically,
you.
right?
But I feel like after 35, you have to have some realistic point of views on that. You're going to have to run that back a little bit. You know what I mean? Because majority of the time, especially black people,
Right.
they're going to have some kids. You know what I mean?
Who are single with
Who
no
are single
children.
with no children.
'Cause that's what
Rightfully
I
so.
want, right.
That's what you should do.
As I should, because I know myself.
Right.
I know myself.
Yeah,
Right.
so it just goes beyond numbers, to be honest with you. It goes beyond numbers. And if that's what you want for your life and you're keyed in on that and you're focusing on that, that's what you're going to attract.
Exactly.
and do I have a kid limit? Yes, I do.
What's your limit?
Is that kid limit with the situations and all that's been in the past or right now? No. But all right, so I have a daughter. I understand, like, at times, like, you may have a couple kids or whatever, or a child. I would really like someone with one child, preferably a daughter. So, because my daughter, likes girls or whatever. Like, I mean, that's who she wants to play with or whatever. A girl around my daughter's age, if she has another child, that's fine. I'm gonna max out at 2, and I'll tell you why. Because I want more kids. I want 1 or 2 more kids. if I have a boy, I'm good or whatever. Like, but then again, I also want to adopt. A lot of women that I run into that have, multiple kids don't want anymore.
Sure.
And that's just a big thing for me. Like, I was placed into a situation. I'm not just a fuck nigga out here that just had a kid. I was in a situation with my daughter's mom where we were living together in an actual relationship, and I wanted marriage. So that's just how I always been. I honestly didn't think I was going to have a child until I was with the person I was supposed to marry. I fell into that situation, and it just didn't work out. So now I'm a single man with a child. And a lot of the times when you see that situation, it was a fuck nigga situation where this nigga just out here, he had a kid with some chick. Like,
they don't even know or something, probably.
It wasn't like that with me. I wanted the home, I wanted the family or whatever. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen like that. And I've been single since her. Because I don't just it's hard out here when you're dating with kids and trying to find something. It's really tough, especially with that single mom and dad being single thing too. Like, oh, I'm free this time, you're free that time. Like,
it's a lot
because you can't just be bringing anybody around your kids.
Right.
So
you gotta understand that it's a package deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't fuck with my kids, you don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Dig what I'm saying? Like, and that's just the bottom line to it. So any girl, she can be, the woman of your dreams.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with a child, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, there's this thing that me and my daughter's mom do too. Like, start with her, like, because she's in a relationship, and like her boyfriend that she's with had to meet me before he was around my daughter, and it may be different like the other way around, like but she's gonna look at it. Oh no, I gotta meet that chick before.
Right.
If it's somebody that's just about to be around.
Right.
Or whatever, like, my
that goes to her point.
My daughter met like female friends of mine,
like,
but
yeah.
it's
I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know. That wouldn't work for me.
What?
Because I live like I'm probably like being unrealistic, but like I wouldn't want anybody else around my child.
And I think, and because you don't want other people around your kids, you were responsible enough to make sure that you married a man who didn't have kids, and y'all got married, and there were certain steps that you took. But you were conscious about that. Like, I don't think I want randoms around my kids. So let me try to put some precautions in place and be responsible, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take a couple extra steps.
Random. Like I said, like they were dating for a while, and then I met him myself before he started like, being around or whatever. And like, he's a cool dude. Like, we've all actually like hung out before and stuff like that. And my daughter will never be confused on who her father is, on who her dad is, because I'm so much in her life that she don't got no choice but to know I'm her father.
Right, right.
Plus, that's my fucking twin.
I was gonna say that. She actually is just like you. But that's also bringing us into talking about co-parenting, which you did touch on. I think that's great. Some of the valid points you guys made, such as your daughter's mother, that you guys do have that relationship that, you guys can be open like that. Oh, like that she's dating someone, and you're not like this jealous guy that's like creating all this drama. Like, you guys both understand your place in each other's life. And it seems to me, just by you talking about it, that you guys can be mutual about a lot of things. Yeah. And that obviously she's most important in both of you guys' lives.
I was at her crib last night. We was all hanging out.
I'm done.
Yeah, I chill at my daughter's mom's crib.
I think that's wonderful.
That's what I'm saying. Not everybody can do that.
And I'm happy to hear that you guys have a strong, healthy co-parenting relationship. Just sitting here, I'm just hearing your perspective. It's just kind of like, I don't know how I would feel about my man spending nights at his child's mother's house.
Exactly what you just said. And I don't think I could co-parent.
That would take a really long time for me to kind of like work around. I don't think I would be okay with it. Is it Christmas morning? Am I invited? I don't.
No, you're not invited.
I think
I understand it's very difficult for people to deal with.
It is.
The difference is with me and my situation, because my situation is different than almost anyone's situation. And my daughter's mom is one of my best friends. I am one of her best friends.
So you're fortunate though. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people
we watch
can't
the
do
same
that.
shows. We be on the phone like talking about fucking. Yo, did you just see Power?
But that's
or
good,
yo,
though.
did you watch the new episode of The Voice or whatever? And her boyfriend doesn't have that jealousy factor to where it's like, oh, they messing around. And it's hard for people to believe. Me and her haven't done anything physically, sexually since we broke up.
I think that's great for you guys.
And
situation
for his kid, for your daughter to see that.
Right.
Yeah.
I just feel like co-parenting in general is very difficult, especially if you didn't have that strong foundation with the person you were in a relationship with.
Right.
A woman changes completely after carrying a child and giving birth to that child. She's not even the same woman that she was before you met her. She goes through all types of things. That's a traumatic experience. So I feel like when I'm angry with my child's father, you getting all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I had maybe a different vision or a different idea of how I wanted us to co-parent and how I wanted this thing to work out, and you're not physically here dealing with everything that I have to deal with being a new mom, just the crying and the stress and not feeling like myself, and I just had this 10-pound human being come out of a hole that's the size of a lemon. Like, she's a different person. She's wired differently, and unfortunately I've seen some of my homies who have kids with women like really go through the ringer as they're fighting to kind of get that common ground with the visitation and
everything,
seeing the kids and how much money is going to be paid per week and child support. Like, it's a lot. Co-parenting is very difficult, and both parties have to be like, all right, we're going to be really adult and mature about this.
Right.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah, I was going to say that not everybody does that.
It's easier said than done.
I actually want to chime in on that, right? So, your situation is special, bro. It's not normal.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I know.
Fortunately for him.
Now, another thing I want to touch on is that you're a man, right? And your baby mother's significant other is also a man, right? And one of the traits of a thorough man is not being jealous, because we're secure with
yourself,
with who we are, and we're secure with the relationship that we have with our woman, right? Women are not like that, bro. Now, it's not even an insecurity.
I know. I know.
But it's not even an insecurity. Women are not having you being at your baby mom's crib.
I'm single right now. That's why, like, it's a lot of what's going on, like how it happens, like that or whatever. But I remember when we had first broke up a little bit after, it was like really difficult for me to date because they saw that me and my daughter's mom was still cool. And a lot of women wasn't having that. So it was like really hard for me to date at first. And like, you know, she still hits me up sometimes or whatever. And like, you know, I see a chick like, oh, who's that? And I'm like, yeah, it's my daughter's mom's. Like, oh, why is she calling you? I'm like, I don't know. We'll find out. Answer the phone. And I'm like, yo.
Look, but you're going to get that, right? But you're going to get that, but also you got to understand that this is women by nature. This isn't even insecurities. This is women by nature. So look, hopefully, and I pray for you, brother, that you find a woman that's thorough enough to accept
your relationship.
Not even that.
The whole dynamic.
The whole thing.
Everything.
No, because she's never going to be cool. First of all, she's going to be cool with y'all co-parenting. A woman's never going to be cool with you chilling with your baby mom at her crib.
Can I find two like that?
I don't think so, bro. I don't think it's...
We actually have a picture of this white couple where they're at Disney World.
That's a key word that you just said,
bro.
We're at Disney World. They're at Disney World.
We talking about sisters.
And they have, what is it? It's the stepdad.
It's a blended family.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
And the stepmom.
I'm not doing that.
I would be down with something like that.
Nah, man.
I would be down with something like that. Because, like, you know, me and her boyfriend, he's cool. We've all chilled before multiple times.
So
like,
you would be able to have that. You would let him have that stepdad shirt on.
No. Would I let him have the stepdad? If they were married and he was the stepdad,
look,
I wouldn't care. I don't think like normal people.
You're thinking like a man. You're just proving my point. Men are cool with it because we don't have that. Like I said, a thorough man is secure with him and his woman.
What about mom and stepmommy right there though?
very rare, bro. That's rare. I'm not speaking about the men. The men can have a drink and smoke together and do all that because we're men. Women by nature are very
possessive.
That's not the word I was looking for, but yes. They're also, but they're
territorial.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They're very territorial, bro.
And my
like I said,
cool.
your
She
keyword,
would want to
your
meet the
keyword
person
in there.
that I'm with and want to hang with them, and that's.
Listen,
I'm telling you, I'm not a petty person at all, but it's not gonna work.
It's
Especially because I don't have just like a boyfriend or like even just a fiance. Like this is my whole husband. So God forbid if anything ever happened, I'm not co-parenting. Like I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like I'll try my very best, but it's not going to probably be a good look for you. I'll be fine,
Absolutely.
And I
it's
think
not going to be a good look.
I think co-parenting, it takes time. So that child is a newborn child. Y'all gonna go through it. Y'all gonna struggle. I've noticed that it takes people like 6 and 7 years. It's not until your kids in like first or second grade that y'all really got it worked out.
First of all, it'd be like 18. Now we're getting along.
It is tough. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, it ain't
It's
all
hard because it's so much that goes into it.
There's a lot that has to be
Sugar-coated.
taken into consideration.
Right.
And I feel like some baby moms and some baby dads, like, they play. So I feel like I don't have children, but I feel like there's a special relationship with somebody that you're having a child with. And some women are like, oh, that's my baby dad. He can always get it. Like, we got kids together. Anytime he want to pop up, I'm going to always let him hit.
No, that's too...
Bitch, not my motherfucking
And
man,
that's what you're saying. So that's like, it's not going to work for someone. You know what I mean? For everybody.
Right.
That's why you're never going to see a black
blended
couple
family
in that type of picture, bro. It's
I
not gonna happen.
actually...
Watch, when I get a girl, you gonna see that same fuck. We gonna do that picture.
I've seen
when I get a girl.
And I
I've
wish you
seen
the
some
best.
successful blended families.
Usually they're older, though. Like you
Taking
said, they're
pictures
usually
like that.
older.
Stepmom, stepdad. I've never seen that.
Like, all right,
One of
now-
my cousins has an interesting situation, and I support it from afar. I don't know all of the inner workings and what's happening behind closed doors, but the wife and the baby mom and everybody get along, as far as I know. But I'm sure that wasn't an easy road to get to. It's probably a journey of figuring it out and putting boundaries in place and what's okay and what's appropriate and what's not.
Were they married couples?
That's a special individual.
No, one of my cousins got his girlfriend pregnant while they were in college. And then he remarried when his daughter was maybe 15 or 16. So there was a lot of time that elapsed. But my cousin, who's older now, like, she's got a mom and she's got a stepmom and she's got her bio dad and her stepdad, and they're just one big happy family. From what I could see, it looks great on them.
Right.
It looks great on them.
Well, more power to them.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to tell you, like you said, it's not a lot of times that happens.
We've done touched on the coronavirus. We done touched on Bernie and Biden, and we done touched on my homie Tido and Toni Morrison for Black History Month. I said Black History Month, Women's History Month. We touched on dating with kids and then co-parenting. And to be honest with you, the craziest topic that I feel like so far is the coronavirus. We really went in on that. But amongst all this coronavirus madness, the NFL is blowing my mind right now.
Okay.
All this pandemic that's going on, the NFL is blowing my mind right now. Now, I know y'all aren't sports fans, football fans, and all that. I know you like sports. You're more of a basketball
I got your back a little
player,
bit.
but oh my gosh, this league is still turning up. It's the coronavirus right now, and the league is still turning up. I don't know how. First person I want to talk about is matter of fact, it's so many people I want to talk about. I know we don't have like all the pictures of everybody that y'all want to hear about. Phillip Rivers is on the Colts right now.
Phillip Rivers
just signed to the Colts. That's crazy. I think he is in a better position on being with the Colts and having a better shot of winning right now.
That's right, because Luck retired, right?
Yeah,
Due to
Luck
injury.
retired, and they had Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback, so I guess Jacoby Brissett is going to be the backup. He is a good quarterback, but Phillip Rivers is going to step in there, do the job. Wow. Another one, Stephon Diggs, which I wish we would have got him here in Philly. He just signed with the Bills. And Dak Prescott, he re-signed with his team. But talk about Philly again.
Okay.
Malcolm Jenkins is going to
The Saints.
the Saints, back to the Saints. Because they had him, drafted him. We took him. He did great for us. Now he's going back. How do you feel about that?
I felt like we should have paid that man, bro. Like, honestly, I still like Malcolm Jenkins was like the heart of our squad for real. Defense on the defensive
Yeah,
side.
I got his jersey.
Yeah, he still has some gas in the tank.
It's one of the only football players you knew about, right, Shari?
I did hear about Malcolm Jenkins going to another team. I'm probably more familiar with him, like with his philanthropy and the things that he does, like in the community. Like I know he gives back and he does, I want to say turkey drives. I could be making that up, but I feel like he's a man of the people and he's like, in the community heavy. So that's my connection to Malcolm Jenkins.
Okay. Amber,
Don't even look my way. Listen, I don't even know what's going on with this.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Malcolm Jenkins made me a little bit more comfortable when Brian Dawkins left. It's almost like he took. I'm not calling him Brian Dawkins by far at all, but he was a good secondary Brian Dawkins, and to see him leave. Now I'm really trying to wrap my head around who
Rodney
is
McLeod.
our team going
It's
to
like
rally
that's
around.
who we like signed. That's whose contract we extended. Rodney McLeod. It's like
Yeah, I don't see him having the same heart and leadership as.
I think he's good.
Jenkins.
It's you know who would have that leadership, and I'll tell you because I don't know if you've seen Eagles All or Nothing on Amazon. Brandon Graham is the man
that's true.
that will fill
That's true.
into that role.
You're right.
But we have some other players that happen, like DeAndre Hopkins. He is no longer in with the Texans. He's on the Cardinals now.
Right.
So,
Which is crazy.
because they got
Why would y'all let him go?
they got the new rookie it's going to be his second year this year. Their quarterback Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good team. Yeah, they let him go for nothing too,
They did.
and it was like a stupid argument between him and like the coaching or the staff there, which is why really he got traded. But that's another one I feel like the Eagles could have went and got. Cam Newton isn't going to be a Carolina
I heard about
Panther
that.
anymore.
I heard that.
And that's another one I wanted to talk about. Teddy Bridgewater signed with the Panthers.
Wow.
Yeah,
What's up with his hair?
I like Teddy though. What do you think?
He's not Cam.
He's a starting quarterback in this league though.
But if the Panthers couldn't do it with the Cam, they definitely not doing it with Bridgewater.
Well, the Panthers were actually killing it last year with the backup Kyle Allen, which was a rookie last year. They just got him as a backup. But I thought they were honestly going to start Kyle Allen this year going into it, but they signed Teddy Bridgewater, which I feel like they're in a better position with Teddy Bridgewater over Kyle Allen. Cam, the two teams I think he could go to right now.
I want to see him in the Giants, but not to cut you off.
The
I want
Giants?
to see him with Saquon.
Nah, they're rocking out with the quarterback they just signed last year. Their rookie quarterback. But I see him going to like either the Steelers, which would be good because that'd be him in PA, which I'm not a Steelers fan because I love the Ravens. But either the Panthers, no, I said the Panthers, the Steelers, or like
Ben's still kicking.
Miami maybe, or
Roethlisberger's still kicking, bro. Like,
I don't know. I don't know how much
how
longer
much
he has
time
to
he got
take.
left?
The biggest one of all that everyone's talking about is Tom Brady. He is now on the Buccaneers.
That's crazy.
Is it official?
It's official.
It's official?
That's
It's
how I know
official.
the world's coming to an end, right? Tom
So
Brady
why did that
and the
happen?
He's not a
Buccaneers
Patriot?
is
You said why? I guess they just wanted to look towards their future. Maybe they wanted to, like, what were you saying about that earlier? Like, they wanted to
I wasn't saying anything about
put, like,
it.
players around them. You said something about Antonio Brown.
Yeah, well, I honestly feel like it was he wasn't getting along with
Bill Belichick?
Yeah, Bill Belichick. Like, I just feel like because he was in love with Kraft. You know what I mean? Like the owner of the team. It's Belichick, man. I just feel like they wasn't putting the right pieces around him, and like he was saying, the Buccaneers are probably more fit to actually get Antonio Davis. I mean,
Yeah,
Antonio
Antonio Brown.
Excuse me.
They're more fit to win right now, too, the
Yeah.
Bucks over the Patriots. And I honestly predicted Tom Brady to go to the Buccaneers 4 hours before he made that decision. Me and my homie were talking on the phone about it, and we were saying, like, the places he could go or whatever. And I was like, I think he'll go to the Bucks.
Yeah.
And that was just me
I
saying.
would've never thought
That was
that.
me saying a thought on me thinking that after this, he's going to retire. He's going to want to be somewhere nice.
Right.
Tampa Bay.
That's true.
So
Okay.
he's going to want to settle down. And then plus go to a team that, like, where he could have a chance right now. So the only team in my mind I had was the Bucks. I didn't even say a second team. I said he's going to sign with the Bucks. And my homie didn't agree with that, and he was saying whatever. But it happened, and I was like, oh, shit. I can say that now.
And
like,
if I'm not mistaken, guys, going into last season, did people assume that this was going to be Tom Brady's last year in the NFL with the Patriots?
going into it, but then after the season, during the Super Bowl, he had a commercial where he joked about him not being done yet.
Okay.
He's still physically there to where I think he's gonna play till he's like 45, until he can't do it no more. Which is why they signed him on for $30 million a year and didn't even put a time frame on it. So
That's crazy.
But we have to wrap up our show. I will say, unfortunately, I had one of my cousins that just passed away recently. So rest in peace, NATO. You know, town's going through it right now. So I give my peace to you, bro. Like, rest in peace. I know you're gonna be looking down at family members now, like your brothers, your sisters, your mom. Shout out to my cousin Brina, this is his mom. My cousin Ricky, cousin Sai, Shamal, all y'all. I love y'all. So I mean, shout out to y'all. It's hard times right now. But we like to finish the show. Not to get all, bring it to negative that happened, but we like to finish the show with a positive message, right? Like how the Jerry Springer show does it. So, Tito, if you could close us out with a positive message tonight.
Positive message. We all have addictions, right? It's human nature to have addictions. Just make sure the addictions that you have are benefiting your growth and not dragging you down.
I like that.
It's a deep one.
Thank you for that.
Nice. Well, thanks for coming out, bro.
Absolutely.
Coronavirus shake. Alright, so, Shari, as always, Amber. It's nice having you guys.
Amber doesn't have a drink.
Amber doesn't have
I
a drink.
toasted my paper.
I have beer. So,
Got a
everybody, salud.
Salud.
Salud to you guys.
Boom.
Alright.
Know why all them other niggas hatin'? Guess it's cause the girlfriend steady participating. Look at what that make me the topic of conversation. Topic of conversation. And I am hella loud. Fuck it, I'm conceited, eat it. Needless to say, I'm a genius. Bringing hip hop back with meaning since we been done R.I.P. I'm at the top, motherfuckers act like they don't know. Blind speaking that Chris Rock shit, saying that they never see before. Nigga, I do's